I'm going to talk about nose weight. When viewed from the side, this is called the stance, and this model toy is bad. It's wrong because you'll notice the caravan perks up at the front. The whole lot should ideally be level, though experts say it doesn't matter if the caravan is a little bit down at the front, because when you start towing, the rush of the wind helps lift it back to the level position. And if you don't get the positioning of the gear inside correct to get the right amount of nose weight bearing down on the tow ball, you will get instability. First of all, it's pitching, but you also get lateral instability. You see, from the side, you get this. You can see this happening. And although that's not quite so pronounced when the nose weight is wrong as that is, it doesn't help towing safety either. Now, the caravan clubs both suggest that you aim for about 5 to 7% in weight of the actual laden weight of the caravan. What that means is the weight that when you've loaded it up, you've been to a weighbridge, you've checked that that is well within its limits, and then you carry out a simple sum. I'm going to go further and say let's do it for real, because my caravan is an Orion 465, it's a couple of years old, and its total limit when loaded up must not exceed 1345 kilograms. So I loaded up a tiny bit underneath that and get it to about 1340, and I get to a weighbridge, check that out, and then I don't need to do that for lots of trips because I know roughly what I can load aboard. And I need to multiply that by 7%. And this good old grandad calculator is spot on for doing the sums. You tap in the 1340, you multiply it by 7 and add the percent key, and it comes out, oh dear, it comes out at 93.8 kilograms. Now that's rather a lot because nose weights are typically between 50 and 100. So by juggling around and with the same amount of load on board, I check it out at 6.25%, and then I find I get a nose weight of 83.75. So that's what I have to check, and that's what I have to weigh. And how do I go about weighing it? Well, let's have a look at some of the devices that you use to check nose weight. One way to check nose weight is to go out and buy a purpose-made nose weight gauge, like this, sold at all caravan accessory shops. Since I purchased this, there's an even better one out that is called calibrated, in as much as it is checked out very meticulously and checked at intervals to ensure that it's still on form. What I couldn't get in here, unfortunately, was the caravan. Well, I got this bit, I got the coupling head or coupling hitch, whichever you call it, but the caravan's missing. I also want you to note that there is an invisible jockey wheel here with a handle on the top. And what you do is you simply position the gauge under the coupling head, and you just lower it on your jockey wheel. It comes down, it comes down, it comes down, and it reaches a stage when it'll stop exerting any more weight. And the weight it's exerting is the nose weight, and you read it off the scale. You know from the calculations earlier that on my setup, I'm looking for around 83 kilograms. You don't have to spend the money. It may be, as like many people, you say, well, hang on a minute, I've seen these things used. Your super duper bathroom scales. I'm not allowed to take these out without doing it in secret, but I've done it today. But to protect them so she doesn't get angry, I've got a little board that goes over the top. Now I could weigh that to get it all added up because it is important. And so is this pole that goes on top. And it's much the same arrangement. You bring the caravan towards it, you stop, you lower it, you lower it, you lower it, you lower it on the jockey wheel. This exerts the downforce. The information on the scale itself is revealed, and again I'm looking for 83 kilograms, recognising that I've taken into account the weight of these bits. Oh, it doesn't end there. Sophistication continues in life, and here's one that came out recently. Have a look at this. It's not the only one that sits on the tow ball to take a measurement, but it is probably the most exciting electronic one if you like digital readouts. Here it is. This bit here sits on the tow ball. It's in place, and of course the caravan is now over that side. So here is the coupling head. That doesn't have to be in alignment. I lower this down with the jockey wheel in the usual way. It couples up, it sits on there, and when it's in place and it presses, it presses, it presses, and it gets to the point where this is now registering. We check it out, we see if that's correct, and we've achieved our objective. Now, it won't be right first time. It'll either be too much nose weight or not enough. And as I've said earlier, you move your possessions inside a little bit, never put them at the extreme ends just to add or reduce nose weight. Try and keep them around the axle in the centre. So a lot of things about nose weight, and you knows all the answers.